All right, everyone, we're going to take a quick look at what the market is doing, some things that we want to most definitely keep an eye on and be prepared for. The general direction is still up, but there are some concerning things building up with the technicals, and I will show those to you and what exactly we should watch for and what we could potentially do about it, whether it's in the upward direction or the downward direction. And then also we'll talk about the best penny stocks to buy now. So Big Bear AI, NVTS, RZLV, BEEM. I'll talk about on ONDS for just a quick moment, and then we'll get into just a quick recap on those top 5 underdog stocks for outperformance. We'll see how they're doing so far. And of course, I start off with the overall markets to talk about the market bias and what we have going on in the background, because that's going to affect all of them. So a few things. First of all, we're in a rising wedge pattern for the SPY, and that's concerning to be in it. So right now it's unconfirmed because we'd have to fall out of it and then retest it, and that would be what tells us that we're going to reject and sell back down. And then the one other thing that's concerning about this, hello Benjamin, that's my cat in the background. He's been meowing all morning. The prices are up, the RSI peaks are coming down. That's a bit of bearish divergence for us, which means that between that and the rising wedge there, we want to watch and see for a structural break in the opposite direction. So right now we don't have the structural break. We're still marching upwards. And furthermore, if we take down the rising wedge and we look in a little bit closer, you can see that we're still on top of the 5 EMA. So this is a very bullish position to be in. And it's not until we actually cross down under that and the 13 that we really start to worry a little bit more that we could sell a little bit further off from where we're at. So right now, there's reasons to be cautious and watchful, but there's not reasons right now to at least in my opinion, for myself, I'm not about to short the market in this sort of environment. So the technicals don't suggest that yet, but they do suggest that it is a time to be watchful. If we get into the Qs, we also have a rising wedge pattern there, and we're also up in this massive area of resistance. By the way, look at yesterday's candle. I talked about these numbers for a while here. Matter of fact, let me do that, and we're going to find where this rectangle is. Perfect, and we're going to stretch it out because we've actually reached those numbers a day. Is actually, I think I have it locked. That's why it's not letting me do anything. There we go. We'll stretch that across some more. Look at that red area that you see there. Yesterday, we went from 603.03, which is like 28 cents above that support that's down here, which is in the bottom of that resistance area. And then we tagged all the way up to 609.71 within 5 cents of the top of this. And that candle spanned the absolute whole thing. So we're also in a rising wedge pattern as well for the Qs. So that's absolutely something to watch for. If we fall out of that and then get rejected on a retest, then that says that we could sell back down. And similar to what we have for SPY is that we're actually starting to get some bearish divergence in there. So to me, this is absolutely a time to be watchful, especially for breaking down below previous supports. And along with what I said for SPY, watch that 5 EMA, which there we go. We actually closed above yesterday and we're bouncing a little bit in the pre-market. So I'm going to reiterate my sentiment that for me, it's not time to go short. For me, it's time to watch and see what we're getting from here. So for me, the call options are going to be much fewer until we get further indication that we're going to get that wild move up, unless it's to a particular security or something like that. And it's certainly not a time that we're going to go buying put options against the Qs or SPY, because again, we just don't have that evidence yet that things are going to sour and turn in the other direction. Bitcoin, here's another indicator that we want to look for. Bitcoin had a rough day. That goes back to yesterday. Sold down below the 5. This morning, we're back up above the 5. If we get rejected below the 5, that would confirm more of the selling pressure that we have right here. Watch for that retest on the 13, because that's going to be that next bounce zone that we're looking for. And that 13 also happens to coincide with about 120,000. So we could kind of get faked out, and this thing could be rocket ships and send us up to 131,000. That's particularly what I'm watching for Bitcoin, is that retest on the 13 if we get it. Otherwise, I'd be looking for a break above this previous peak, and that peak happens to be at 126,272. That's going to be that thing that shows us that there's further room to the upside. I'm not too interested in being in between in this area of chop that we have right here. And the RSI, what's it doing? Well, so far we don't have confirmation that the prices are moving up and the RSI is moving down. Right now, this just, at least on a daily basis, just looks like we're in bullish territory. So for me, it'd be a very hard thing to say without any technical reason to do so. I'm going to buy put options on this, because I think it's going to go down, because that would be me speculating. That would be trading with ego, not trading according to the charts that are there. So Big Bear AI, how's it doing? man, we keep on getting selling pressure. This thing does not want to give up. We keep finding buyers as soon as we dip down below that 5 EMA. So watch for the 5 EMA to be broken and then the retest on the 13 if we get it, because we'll probably have at least a bounce off of that. To the upside, we're looking for a break above these previous peaks that you see over here to see further indication that we could move northward. Now, for me, we're getting that tough time. So if we break above this, just in the high sevens, that could give us another 50 cents. But then we get into a massive area of selling pressure and chop just north of that where you see these pivots. And that's what I'm indicating with these lines that are up here to the north. I'll put them center on your screen for you, that we got two massive rejections before that, and then a third one here more recently. So going into NVTS, woo, look at that volume. Let's shrink that back down. There we are. This is not a great look for us in terms of candle structure. It's still some chop and some sideways movement. It doesn't give me a clear indication. We're seeing that selling pressure to the north, which I said is pretty much where we find Big Bear AI as well, but we are still up above the 5 and the 13. Now, if you do look at the price action, the RSI that we've gotten over that time, we're starting to get a decline, a confirmed decline in that RSI, but it's still in bullish territory. So for me, we're not in that, at least I should say for myself, for purchases, I'm not in the position where I think that for me it's time to be aggressive with call options or aggressive with put options. For me, I'm watching this one to watch for that next opportunity to come around, like we got when we bounced off the 50 EMA and then had a nice run up from there. I'm watching for that retest off the 13 if we're going to get it. And then I'm also watching the volume structure that goes along with it to see if we get that explosive volume with a move to the upside, or if we get a big old volume move south below the moving averages and we start to see the RSI cross back down under 50. For RZLV, there we go. So far, selling pressure evident on the 3rd of October. So that was Friday of last week. Sell and then sell some more. We got that touch on the 13, but once again, until we get that 5 down over the 13 and the RSI crossing down below 50, for me, it's not a time that I'm really willing to go short on this. And plus, something else that keeps me from going long is the selling pressure that we're seeing, because it's obvious that there's enough sellers up here that I don't think that I'm in that territory to be aggressive on this. But look at that volume. There's definitely reason. There's traders in here for RZLV, and this can cause those violent moves to happen. I'm looking for the right opportunity in order to make it happen. And in terms of opportunity, Beam, check this out from yesterday. I said that we had room up to 356. We peaked out at 352. So we were within 4 cents. I said that was a critical level to make it over. We didn't make it over it. We sold back off, but we're still above the 5, the 13, the 200, the 50. And look at that golden cross that could be coming our way. And that could be further bullishness coming our way to BEEM on this low market cap stock. And also, I think it's fairly low float as well, about 15 million shares tradable. So for this one, that move above 356 is what I'm looking for next. If we go out to the weekly chart on this, there we go. What else do we see that's good for this? Well, we're up above the 50 EMA. We haven't done that. Look at these previous weeks. And if we look even further left, we would see more. This candle up above, if we close this week up above on good volume, this could be very good for us. And the volume has been pretty decent. We'll see how it finishes up, especially if it's increased volume of what we had the previous weeks leading up to it, with exception to the middle of September. That week was wild, highest volume in the history of the stock that week. And you could see the upside that we've gotten since that time. The 5 is about to cross the 50. That's good. That's bullish. The 13 over the 50 is even better. And then getting back up above that 200 week, which is way up there at $8.15. Well, we'll talk about that should we get there. So last thing on a Beam, just on the monthly chart, as we look at it, there we go. Getting into a place where we can get above the 13 is going to be huge for us. We want to close October above this yellow 13 EMA coming this way, especially if we can get above 356. That would be great. I still think that opens us up to $5. We want to see this 5 EMA here. We want to see that cross up over the 13. And we're going to have a much better shot of it once June falls off of this. Look how high the prices go. So in June, we close all the way down at $1.45. That falls off in exchange for $2.32, $2.74, $2.88, and then up over $3. So we'd be dropping something that's about $1.50 for something that could potentially be up at that $3 mark. And that would be a nice change. We could start to see that 5 close in even more on the 13. And we would also lose some of these candles in exchange for those potentially higher prices if we keep on shifting that balance back this other way. So very hopeful on that one as well. And then ONDS, this one I'm watching for my opportunity. We haven't retested the 50 since going all the way back to July 29th. And that was the last time that we saw the 50. And the 5 and the 13 has been support the entire way. Now what I'm looking for, gosh, I would love a pullback to that 50 EMA, because after this volume, which let me zoom out so you can see more of the volume. Matter of fact, let's go to the weekly chart so you can see just how wild the volume has been. Look over here at the nothingness of volume and then this sharp increase in volume and opportunity that you see here. We're at 93 for the RSI. This thing's screaming, absolutely screaming. It does not have to come back down anytime soon, but I can tell you that if it does, I think it's going to take one heck of a bounce, especially if it pulls back as far as the 50 EMA on the daily chart for this one. So guys, if you want to see more on this, you can come on over, join us at the Discord, links in the description. Code word, I'm sorry, not code word doctor. As a matter of fact, 3-day free trial. You can just check it out for free. The entire ecosystem and thousands of community members that are over there, along with the expert panel channels that are in that Discord as well. Come on over and check it out. We'd love to have you. And I hope that you stay for a while, as so many others have. And if you want to further your knowledge, further your abilities with technical analysis, with trading using technicals, and then also options to really amp that alpha in your portfolio, there's some coursework through Stockmo Academy. Code word doctor is going to get you $400 off the course when you sign up. It makes it an incredible discount, an incredible deal there waiting for you. And if you bundle the two courses together, you get a bundle discount on top of the code word doctor discount as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you next video.